So this is LeAnn Miller. She's with Eat Wyoming. She's joining us remotely today. But we're happy she's able to join us.
Oh man. Well, the roads are better today, but I've got because all of the road closures in the last couple of days, I've got trucks going everywhere trying to make up for all the things that we didn't get done during the middle of a storm. So I apologize that I have to do this virtually, but business still goes on, and I think you'll appreciate it once I give the presentation anyway. So I'm going to share my screen right now. We're going to talk about actually what does it take to, or what sort of things does it take to be a market gardener, or how do you move beyond just farmers markets, and and what do I do? But first, before I um, uh, can you see my screen okay? Or you can't see the share? There you go. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So one thing that I want to do, or one thing that I always do when I make a presentation, is I give a little background. I want everyone to basically, get a feel for how this all started, where we began, and how it became what it is today. So way back, probably 2015, 2016, we started out with a grant to do a feasibility study just in Natrona County. And what we found for Natrona County was that um, we we had plenty of people who wanted to excuse me, plenty of people who wanted to purchase local products, but we didn't have very many growers. We had some backyard gardeners and things like that. But the problem in Natrona County is that we have so many barriers. We literally have 5 different soils. So amending the soil is huge. We have wind that was unnatural for not in all of the state. Now we seem to have a lot of wind everywhere. But we also had such a very short growing season. So, of course, the season extension is so important here. So, when we wrote the results of that assessment, we were encouraged to continue and write and do a study for the entire state, which is what exactly what we did. And what we found was we have beautiful pockets of agriculture throughout the state. The Bighorn Basin, there's some in the Riverton area, the Torrington area. There's lots of these beautiful areas that are doing a lot more agriculture, but they're also in areas that are farther out, and have less population. So markets are smaller, and then how do we get it to the people who want it, and that sort of thing. So that's really how Eat Wyoming, well, Fresh Foods Distribution and Eat Wyoming got started, was because we thought we could solve that problem by doing by being a uh, um, a distribution center. We could go get the produce and then get it to the people who wanted it. So that was really how Fresh Foods was started. And we started out very small with a CSA. So I am going to tell you a little bit about our veggie box. We just call my farmers and find out what they have available in their gardens today, and then we build, aggregate that all together, and then we build a CSA box or a veggie bag, full of 8, 9, 10, 11 different items. And then we turn around and deliver it. And we are currently delivering all over the state. So we started very small. I think we had 10 bags. We are now delivering somewhere in the neighborhood of, at any given time, between 135 and 150 bags or orders. In the wintertime, we do it every other week. In the summer, we do it weekly. So that's really how things got started, by this feasibility study we did, um, coming to finding out the barriers, trying to come up with a solution, and that's what we've been doing. So obviously, we talk about the veggie bag. That was our big thing. Now we distribute and move product for lots and lots of folks. So I'm not going to go into a lot about that, but it's just something that we do pretty regularly. And um, I'm sharing this screen because for you as gardeners, the things that we, the main things that we see every year. I wanted to talk about.
LeAnn, we can't see your PowerPoint.
Oh, you're not able to see the. Okay.
We see your file explorer right now.
Oh, okay. Hang on. There we go. How about that?
There we
See
go.
it now? So, well, I do have to show you these beautiful vegetables if you didn't see them. Um, we so for so what I do every January and February is I get with all of my farmers and I talk to them about what I think that we'll use in veggie boxes, what I think I will be delivering to my wholesale markets, to my other markets, what will deliver for folks who are doing, if I can move their product to other farmers markets, etc. And so this is just some of the main crops that we deal a lot with, of course. In the spring, of course, there's lots of greens and lettuces and bok choy. And then we get into root crops and cold weather crops, summer crops. So to be a market gardener, one of the things that you should consider when you're thinking about what you're going to plant is what sort of things and when you're going to harvest them. And that's kind of what we do. We kind of decide, okay, in the spring, most of our products are leafy greens, cold weather, early crops, that sort of thing. So we let our folks know that. And then in the midsummer, when everything is going great, of course, you're more into the squashes, the eggplants, the celery, sweet corn. And then when we get into fall, of course, peppers. I sell a lot of peppers, pumpkins, watermelons, cantaloupes, that sort of thing. You also have to take into consideration what you actually have in your area. I mean, what grows best in your area? Worland, for example, has it dialed in on the whole watermelon, cantaloupe, melon area. They do a great job with melons. But maybe in your area, things like the peppers and tomatoes and sweet corn are doing much better. And so for me, as a distributor, I'm going to call all of those folks and I want you to grow what works best for you. I just had a conversation with some folks the other day and they've dialed in tomatoes and sweet corn, for example. So then we work with them on when that's available and when we can put it in our bags at that time. I let all of my wholesale markets know at that time. And so we really try to encourage those people. If you grow it well, let's stay with that. If you've got something that you've got a great niche in, then we want to work with that. And it's interesting because while I'm talking about this, I wanted to let people know that um, that we live in an area that, as far as, of course, I do a lot with fruits and vegetables, and mostly that we live in an area that no one is growing on large acreage. We don't have large vegetable farms. Folks are growing on 2.5, 3.5 acres. I think my craft farms at one time was growing on 5 acres and they've even cut back a little bit. But my point being is that as we grow and we get more markets, you have to have several farmers. There's plenty of room for everyone in this market because I can pick up 300 pounds from one farmer and 300 pounds from another farmer without any issue of getting it to the market it needs to go to. So I know that we often think that that sometimes there's a lot of competition out there, but really you have to have a lot of farmers to create the large amount of wholesale that we want to grow to, which is our next absolute, that's where we should be going next, so to speak. I wanted to, of course, we work really hard and partner with lots of different folks to know your farmer, know your food. We do everything from vegetables and grains. We've worked with Sarah, and we work with GF Harvest. So we do lots of products. We prefer, and for this particular class, raw vegetables is really a good opportunity because there's a little less regulation than on value added products, so to speak, because you can sell raw, unprocessed vegetables without issue to a wholesale market. So that's really important for them to know. Now, the the part where we came in the distribution area was that we maintained the cold chain transportation, and we were able to work with to work with keeping that. It gets picked out of the garden, chilled. We pick it up. We maintain that chill, so the quality and integrity of the vegetables then doesn't degrade as we're transporting it. You know, 90% of ours are less than 400 miles as opposed to 4,000 miles, which is a lot. And that's why we really want to push our local farms and farmers. So I just wanted to give a little bit of that background. And where we're going now is that the natural progression is, first of all, wholesale markets. There is a huge opportunity in front of us currently for working with uh, several large grants that are coming out for local procurement for schools, local procurement for food pantries. These are really good opportunities for our market growers, our market garden growers, to bump up and move to the next level, because we're going to have a lot more opportunity to sell to markets that we were not able to sell to in the past. And or not that we weren't able to, it just wasn't as easy. And with more transportation available, and with these partnerships, it's going to be an opportunity for you, if you really do want to move your market garden up to the next level, that this is the time that we want to do it. There's a couple of things for you to think about when you're thinking about it. There are So you're in your local area. There are things that you can do on your, like sell to your local restaurants. You reach out to your local school. You reach out to maybe your local food pantry. But if you want to grow bigger and need it to move to a larger area or expand above, because gardening is hard and gardening takes a lot of work, and it's not always an opportunity for folks to, oh, I can grow it, I can weed it, I can harvest it, I can do all that. Oh, and I'm going to transport it 200, take a full day out of my work week to try to figure out how I get it to a market, that sort of thing. So those are the things that Eat Wyoming is working on, with partnering with lots of folks in trying to work together in order to get that transportation within the state um, worked out, so that everyone has that opportunity to grow. But think about how much do you want to do? Do you want to just do the niche of your own little area, or do you want to do, if you want to grow? I can tell you that we did somewhere in the neighborhood, from one farm on 3 acres, we did somewhere in the neighborhood of 170,000 pounds, I think, is what we transported over the course of the year. Now, some of that was early and late, and a lot of it was in the midsummer. But those opportunities are out there. We just have to work together to partner on them. And so when I'm talking to gardeners, when I'm talking to people who want to move into the next level, you have to be really honest about how much time do I want to spend? What do I how much effort do I really want to do? How much do I really want to sell? Do I really want to grow to a large level? And then do I want to keep it up? I have a farm that was doing a very large amounts, but they're getting older. It's getting much harder. Their family is not all that willing to take on the farm, even though they're, so that's a whole nother presentation, actually, when we talk about how we do generational opportunities and new folks trying to come in and homestead and do this as well. But there's just, you have to decide how much time you want to spend, how big do I want it to be, and then we'll try to make it happen. Do I want to grow um into the late falls? I will tell you that almost entirely the folks that I deal with have some sort of uh either greenhouse or shelter that they start early their plants. Several of them have shelters over certain um, plants that they grow. And then others are just out in the outside. There are actual greenhouses, 4-season greenhouses, but every one of the larger farms that I work with and that I get most of my produce from at this time have some sort of season extension, whether it's shelters, or whether it's a full-on greenhouse. And of course, there's lots of opportunities out there. As always, these are reimbursement grants, but I know we had a stakeholder meeting that talked a lot about the grants a few weeks ago. But if there's lots of opportunities to get some reimbursements for shelters and greenhouses and et cetera, and we can certainly gear you in the right way that if you're looking to do that. So I know that I'm going to mention this in this particular area. We've talked a lot about organic and not organic, certified and not certified. None of my farms are actual certified organic. However, they are all using organic or sustainable, regenerative, and natural practices. Not a lot of sprayed chemical herbicides, and some of them are using things like neem oil or more organic opportunities if they need to for pests and that sort of thing. Others are just, if they've got a pest, they burn that crop down to get rid of it. So all of the folks that I've been recently dealing with don't use um, are all doing regenerative and natural type of growing. Now, in the past, it's been, and I want to do this shout out for Nate Powell. Um, there has been it's been really difficult to get certified organic if you really want it to be. However, they have brought in, and he lives in Bighorn, and I think it's Nate Powell Palmer. And he did a speaker series for the Food Coalition for us. And they're working on a lot of different inspectors and making it a lot less expensive for you if you want to become certified organic. And there's a lot of conversation about that. And if any of you, at the end, of course, I'll have all my contact information. Please reach out and we'll connect you with the folks that can help you along that road, because Nate is actually hired as a mentor to try and help. And they've got some really good programs, and they've got some programs that are not, where it used to be very expensive, very time consuming, very laborious. They will help you go through all of that process if it's something that you want to do. Now, people, general public, they really are only interested in that products are not sprayed with very harmful herbicides and pesticides, the highly toxic chemicals that we hear so much for, wheat glyphosates and things like that. They're more interested just that it's a naturally grown product and that there's not a lot of extra stuff on them. So 90% of my customers and my folks aren't as interested in the actual certification as they are the good agricultural practices. So, and I'm going to put a little plug in. We are going to do a food safety stakeholder meeting in Worland in June. So stay tuned. If you're not already tuned into the Wyoming Food Coalition, they'll have all of that in their website and social media coming up, because we will be doing a food safety training meeting in June in Worland. So that'll be an awesome opportunity for any of my market gardeners, just to get some ideas about how to safely handle products. So that's really what you need to do, is think about where you want to go. For us at Eat Wyoming and Fresh Foods Distribution, obviously we're working to build more hub areas in across the state. The Bighorn Basin, the Rock Springs area, the Cheyenne-Laramie area, the Buffalo Sheridan area, to create some areas of storage there where we can then connect with each of our farmers, have cold storage available for them, and then be able to move that product around the state. So that is one of the things that our next step is, because obviously we want to help all of our producers grow to the level that they want to grow to. I'll show the obviously we have refrigerated vehicles. It's unfortunately I don't have a vehicle that has the dry, but I do have vehicles that have the refrigerated unit, frozen unit in them, and we currently have 3 and are looking for another 2. We're hoping to have 5 refrigerated vehicles within this year, so that we really can get from producer to consumer, whether it's direct to consumer or whether it's to wholesale consumers. So that's really where we're going, and we want to help you go there as well. The routes that we currently are running, we do the southeast, of course, Cheyenne, Laramie, I-25, the central area, which is Natrona County, Converse County, and Carbon counties. We deliver to the northeast, which is Sheridan, Buffalo, Newcastle, and Gillette, that area. Then, of course, we're in the Bighorn Basin, and right now we are currently delivering to Rock Springs, Green River, and we are working on this the Star Valley area. We do the Teton County when we do all of the stuff with Fremont County currently, but so we're working hard to do each of those areas as far as that goes. So we have partnered with Shoshone River Farms. I show this slide because a lot of the products that he grows, we are able to sell. I have a distributorship, and I'm approved through Whole Foods to deliver fresh produce to them. That's one of my big grocery store, where we've done a lot of actual produce. We deliver to other wholesale places like golf courses and restaurants and et cetera. But that's really, if you want to grow your garden to the next aspect, then that's what you want to think about. What kind of things will, and I think I saw that my folks from the Department of Education are here. When they're talking to schools, we're talking about quantities and the type of things that they can use. That's the other thing. What are the items that restaurants and tomatoes, peppers, onions, potatoes, those are the sorts of things that they will always pick up locally if they can. Some of the other items that we deliver, summer squashes and some of those type of things, those are more menu specific, I guess, if you wanted to call it that. But the point is that when we're working on those, that's what we do. What is it that you're looking for? I have a restaurant, I deliver it's a Mexican restaurant. I deliver cases and cases and cases of poblano peppers because they do a lot of chili rellenos and that sort of thing. So those are the types of products that we want to see. Where are you? What grows well for you? What kind of niche do you want? And then we move on into those sorts of aspects. But I kind of, I just wanted to show you that we've been partnering with Shoshone River Farms. We do a lot. I know the Food Bank of Wyoming actually purchased a lot of product from them, and I think he is probably um, one of my largest producers at this moment, but we have room to grow. And that's really why I wanted to make this presentation, because I need farmers. I can't count you. You never know what happens, and you never know what kind of weather related issues come up in Wyoming. There's lots of stuff that happen. And so in our business, we always need to have backup. And I try to make it worthwhile for every person and find, an outlet for them, absolutely, if we can. So I show this because I do a lot of transportation for Lakeview Gardens, which is microgreens, beef, Tyler McCann with Wyoming Cowboy Cuts. I do a lot of transportation for him. And then, you know, we have those opportunities actually to work with lots. Something no one ever thought about, and I wanted to bring this up, was that I often bring products to a local backwards distillery, of course, but they have a bar, and they do specialized cocktails. I'll take raspberries. Sometimes I take herbs. Sometimes I take cantaloupe, or things that they can do. But that's another outlet. So sometimes I guess I put this slide up just because we always think of the obvious, and sometimes we have to think out of the box. Where can our products go? Where can I sell them to folks that may not be the norm? And there's a lot of opportunity out there. And then I wanted to do a shout out. We had a great opportunity with Department of Education in the past to do local food for schools. We've done a lot of work with Food Bank of Wyoming, and those opportunities are coming forward um, in the next year or two as we move forward with some pilot programs and that sort of thing. There's a lot of talk about forward contracting, and I'll just give a brief description about what forward contracting is. That means I come to you at your farm and I say, I need 1,000 pounds of poblano peppers that I have guaranteed I will sell to this customer. And you say, I will grow those 1,000 pounds of poblano peppers. We agree on a price, and then I come and pick them up when they're harvested and deliver them to the I mean, that's it in a nutshell. That's basically what forward contracting is. It's a little tougher in Wyoming just because we have such vast um, we're a large state, we're a low population, and we have a lot of ground to cover. And so sometimes, forward contracting was really more developed for commodities and things like that. So that if a large farm had a lot of wheat, and the flour mill, wanted that and wanted to guarantee that no matter what happened, he got it at this price, that's really where forward contracting began. But now, in this particular situation, we are going to go out so that we can tell the Food Bank of Wyoming that we're going to deliver to them 15,000 pounds of whatever it is. And then I go to the farmers and I ask them to grow that. And then I know that I'll be able to deliver that 15,000 pounds to them. I mean, that's how I work it, but that's generally the concept of that. So I made this shorter, basically, because I really wanted people to ask questions, because the best answers and the best dialogue usually comes when we're talking about specifics and that sort of thing. And hopefully And I know I kind of rushed through it because I only had 45 minutes and I wanted to leave at least 15 minutes for questions and etc. So please, I'll leave this up on the screen because it's my contact information. But I open it up, and if anyone has any questions, I'd love to hear them now.
LeAnn, it's Carla from Wyoming Department of Education. And I just wanted to let you know, we did get notice last night at 5 o'clock that the Wyoming Department of Education was supposed to get $1.1 million from USDA for local foods for schools, and those grants have been terminated as of last night.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
No.
Okay, bummer. Well,
and across the USDA, just to give you some scope on that, Bobby and I looked last night. It was $633 million for the entire US to buy local foods from farmers that would go directly to our kids. That's what the country lost.
that is pretty disappointing, actually, because I know that Bobby has worked extremely hard on, getting the schools on board. That was always, and he's been great at communicate. Some of the challenges we'd found in the past were communication and just getting folks, out of their thinking out of the box. And Bobby has done a terrific job on that. I just want to say that he's gotten those people to, to think a little differently and to buy. I guess now we're just going to have to figure out how we work it into the budgets of that, or maybe we work, Carla, with maybe we can partner together on this forward contracting thing through ARPA, because their dollars were already actually sent to them. So they're not waiting for them to say, oh yeah, you can have these funds. So maybe we'll have to talk about how we can leverage those a little bit.
And what we are seeing is anything at USDA that they consider discretionary or that wasn't already allocated. We've had several programs cut in the last week or two. And so if we don't have it in hand, we don't have it. But Bobby's sitting here with me, LeAnn. School districts, I don't want to scare the producers, school districts can still buy directly from producers. They just have to use their funds. Because this was just absolutely free money that we would pay the entire bill, the growing, the shipping, the delivery cost. $1.1 million we could put into our economy and our schools. So that's lost, but the schools can still buy directly from local producers because they get money per meal. So they can just use that money. This isn't just above and beyond money.
Okay. Well, I'm really disappointed. I thought you were going to tell me, yay, you got it. I'm so bummed. But yes, schools can, and generally for schools, I'll help too with distribution if we need to keep pricing in line. So we can certainly work that out. But the only reason I know about the ARPA dollars or this forward contracting dollars is because it was already allocated, and I think they already have it, because that was the first question I asked is there a possibility of losing that? And they guaranteed us that there was not. So maybe we can still work in some manner with those underserved areas of schools like in the past. So thank you so much. And I'm so sorry. That just breaks my heart.
I do actually have a question. As a local producer, or will be a local producer here in the Cheyenne area, how do I become a vendor for you? What do I do? Do I just reach out? What do I do?
Yep, absolutely. First of all, you can just reach out to me, and you have my contact information there. On my website, you can also, there is a vendor registration. Basically, once you express interest and register as a vendor, then I send you a huge onboarding about how you can work with my website. But mostly, first, reach out to me, or if you want to have Jennifer send me your contact information, I will reach out to you after, next week. And we come through this. In fact, we're in Cheyenne today, right now. My truck is, and I have another truck that's up in the Sheridan Gillette area because obviously with the storm we had to reroute, and now we're trying to catch everybody up. But we are in the Cheyenne area every other Friday and every Friday in the summertime.
Okay, yeah, I will be sending you an email as soon as we're done with the conference today.
That sounds great. Perfect. I look forward to visiting with you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, looks like we're all out of questions here, LeAnn, but thank you
Okay.
again for taking the time and sharing about Eat Wyoming.
Well, and if anybody knows me, they know I can talk a lot. And I see you, Bobby, back there laughing at me now that I know you're there. And so I was really proud I got done in my 45 minutes, because usually I can talk for an hour, hour and a half pretty easily. So if I went too fast, I think Jennifer said there's going to be a recording sent out to the participants, but please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I can, sometimes I think I know just enough to be dangerous in every area, and but I will certainly get you to the right people if you need to. So please don't hesitate to call me anytime.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.